This is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with the acclaimed actor, the one and only Julia Fein. But before we get to our interview, here's a sneak peek at Julia's amazing talent.
Let me back in the shadows, the silence. Let me stand in the shadows. As the world turns upside down, as the sky comes crashing down upon my life. As the world turns upside down, when the stars come crashing, tumbling, thrashing, falling out of place. Is there nowhere left for grace? And my heart overflows. My heart overflows. But it's quiet every Sunday. The cost is too high. Stay.
Well, hello, Julia. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Julia, it is so great to finally meet you. I'm so excited. The audience got just a little sneak peek of you as the leading lady, Hilda, in the Joe Hill revival. I want to know, talk to me a little bit about when you got to perform that here in the city.
Yeah, so this was a super exciting opportunity for me. It was one of my first performances in New York, and it's full of a cast of new emerging actors. Dan Furman wrote the music, and I truly believe he's a musical genius. It's every is absolutely gorgeous. We put it up actually in a tavern in Brooklyn in the fall, a great place called the Rustic Tavern, and it has an outdoor patio area, and so we were able to do it outside in the fall. And then coming up on February 6th, it is going to be a only show at the Triad Theater in Manhattan.
That's amazing. I love the Triad. It is such like a quaint kind of old school, like intimate theater, but something from yesteryear, but I think would fit the sensibility of the Joe Hill revival perfectly. And I will be there. I'm going to be in the same outfit.
Amazing.
I'm going to be in the same outfit.
Yes, I will definitely send you all the info. I would love that.
I'm there, and I promise you, I am there. Also, Julia, I
Good.
want to know a little bit about your backstory. Listen, I want to know where you grew up and when you fell in love with musicals. I mean, was there, I guess, okay, so was there like a solo that you had where you were like, oh my God, I love the sound of the applause, I'm okay. And was there like a Broadway musical, did you have like a first Broadway musical experience where you're like, oh my God, I need to do that?
So I was thinking about this morning, and my love for theater definitely started smaller than Broadway. A ticket stub in my room from 2002. So I was 6 years old, and I was in the audience. And I actually just did that math today. I was like, I feel like I was much older when this happened, but I was only 6 because I remember sitting in the audience, and it was a children's theater company called Music Theater of Connecticut. So I was sitting in the audience of that, tiny theater company's show. And the lead, whose name is Mia Gentile, who you might know now. She's been on Broadway in Kinky Boots. But I remember sitting there in 2002 and just falling in love with her talent and like falling in love with the magic that she created and thinking like, I want to do it. And I've held on to that ticket stub, and I actually took it to Kinky Boots a few years ago and had her sign it, and it was a nice full circle moment.
I love it. And now people who are going to be seeing you as Hilda in the Joe Hill revival, you're going to get some 6-year-old girl being like, they're going to want that sick ticket stub from the Triad Theater. Okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it must, it must feel cool though that you, because I remember I had a very similar moment. I remember seeing a performer in a Broadway show, and it was actually the revival of Showboat back in the 90s. I am much older than you, but I just remember the way that the sets and the performers and the costumes and how it all worked together. Lo and behold, I didn't know that that was even remotely a thing called directing. So I went into performing, but then became a director later on. But Julia, this is not my therapy session. This is your interview. So I will not go down that rabbit hole.
okay,
Julia,
yeah.
second question for you. You went to Brown University, one of the most prestigious universities in our country, also one of the most beautiful liberal arts schools. I'm curious, was it while you were there that you still focused on theater, but did you enjoy also kind of getting, dare I say, the buffet table of all of these different, disciplines in your tool belt?
Definitely. Yes. It was a tough decision, but I think I sort of always knew that I wanted to do liberal arts. I say tough because I knew that theater was my passion. So I was sort of like, why am I not doing conservatory? But I wanted more, ready to do 100% theater. And I felt like doing other subjects would help me with my theater as well, and getting to meet people from all different areas of life with all different passions. I think in high school, I was very much boxed as a theater person, and I expected that to Brown, and I expected my best friends to all be theater people and to live with theater people. And most of my close friends are from my hall freshman year. None of those people studied theater. And I think it's just helped me grow so much as a person. And I actually majored in psychology. So,
So
although
I need a
I
therapy session. You could, Venmo me for that because I almost went down that
love
rabbit hole.
therapy, I am in therapy myself as well. Important to share, I think. Get rid
Yay,
of that
mental
stupid
health.
stigma. Um, But yeah, so I studied psychology and theater. And I think they're both very closely connected. They're both about people and discussions. And, I could
Absolutely.
talk about that for hours, but
No,
yeah.
listen, I loved it too. I mean, I went to another liberal arts school, Boston College. Also, was at a time when I was like, "Ooh, I knew I wanted to do theater." But frankly, for me, and I'm sure you can agree, the conservatory route is for some people, and God bless. But I too
Yeah.
am so grateful. I kind of got like this worldly, view of everything, and it's helped me as an artist. And I'm sure you can attest to that as well. I want to know though, Julia, before I ask my final question. This has been a tough time for all artists, all humans, but especially artists. I'm curious, any advice for artists out there who may, be looking around on social media, seeing people doing so much stuff, and they're not feeling that spark. They're not feeling that need to put anything out. Any advice for those artists?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say just be gentle with yourself. For me, right now, especially with this surge, it feels almost fruitless to be putting my stuff out into the world. But I try to focus less on necessarily booking, or even if I book, what if it gets canceled because of COVID, and more relationship wise, of like, there's no harm in giving my video. Like, only good can come from this, and focusing more on relationship building versus actually getting apart. And I had a great instance with that recently where I actually auditioned for something in person, didn't get it, was bummed. And then they called me a few months later and they ended up needing an understudy, and they remembered me from the audition and liked me. I made a good impression. Um, so just it's hard, but try keep positive and remember that the outcome that you get immediately might not be the final outcome.
Ugh, such great advice, Julia. I mean, for anyone in wherever they're at, in any business, you just never frickin' know. I want to let our audience know for more on the amazing Julia Fine. You could read more about her right below this video. Julia, in looking ahead to 2022, obviously you have the Joe Hill revival coming up here in Manhattan. But I also want to know, is there anything that you're optimistic about, even beyond the business of show, as we look forward into 2022 and beyond?
Sure. Yes, I am hopeful that this will go back down. And I think I've just realized through the last few years how important my friends are to me, and how if I can have them in my life easily accessible, everything else sort of falls into place. So it's been really difficult to not have that accessibility, and I'm just hoping that that comes back. I think we're each other's biggest cheerleaders, and it's easier to move forward when you have people supporting you. So I'm excited to be able to do that again for my friends and also have their support and hopefully have the world a little bit back to normal.
Uh, I love your optimism, Julia. It's infectious, as is your talent, and I'm so excited you're
Thank you.
coming on board this incredible new social media app. It's going to, connect you with artists all over the world, but also I'm so excited that we're not connected and hopefully we get to work together sooner rather than later, Julia.
Yes, that would be amazing.
So
So
nice.
good to meet you. Thank you so much.
You took the words right out of my mouth. So nice to meet you.